Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, dear. Good evening, Anaja. Good evening, Aryan.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Dhairya. Better keep your videos turned on. We'll wait for everyone to join for next 1 minute. Dhairya, Anaja, Aryan, keep your videos turned on. Jyoti, you did not attempt yesterday's test?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anaja, Abhi, I don't think so. You must have received the test back, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But I will discuss the test questions, then we will move further because none of you, whosoever attempted, did not do it very well. Dhairya, Aryan, Subhansh, Abhinav, kindly turn on your video so that I can start with the class.
Just a minute.
Okay. So, a lot of you attempted the test, whosoever is present today, but the test wasn't up to the mark. First, I'm going to discuss the test. Why? Because whatever you had done was not very good. So, I'll just quickly take a screenshot. Children, whenever the question is asked to you in which they are asking you to tell if whatever they're asking to write it chemically, means you always and always have to represent it using a chemical equation. If at all you are missing out on chemical equations in this particular chapter, you are not going to get the marks. Because this chapter involves the main thing which is there, that is the reactions only. And if you are missing out on reactions, then somehow you are not going to get the full marks, right? So first we are going to discuss the test and then we will move further. Let's see the test now. So the first question was, what happens when quicklime is added to water? First of all, what is quicklime? And one of you also wrote the answer from the internet, which will not be considered. I have written cheated from the internet. Whenever you will get the test, you will be able to see. So, I don't know, my screen has hung. So, quicklime added to water. What is quicklime? Quicklime is calcium oxide. When calcium oxide reacts with water, it leads to the formation of calcium hydroxide. Now you must have seen probably from the internet where the answer is written that slag lime is formed. None of you knew what is slag lime. Writing formation of slag lime is not the correct thing.
Ma'am,
Because if you, yes.
ma'am, I know slate line because it's in my test, like running notes from my school.
It is?
From my school, ma'am. Slate.
Okay.
Same, ma'am.
So calcium oxide is the quicklime. Water is already known to you. It leads to the formation of calcium hydroxide, which is known as slag lime. So many of you wrote the same thing in the words, but you have to represent it with the chemical reaction whenever they are asking you to write what happens chemically. Then the next question was, what characteristic change occurs? Now you people can answer. Second, first part, when aqueous solution of lead nitrate and sodium iodide are mixed together, what do you observe?
Formation of yellow precipitate.
Yes, you had to write formation of yellow precipitate of PbI2. Then the second part was zinc pieces are put in hydrochloric acid. A few students wrote the reaction for that, but the reaction in this case wasn't asked in this question. What was asked for? What you observe. So what we observed, the evolution of hydrogen gas.
One doubt, ma'am. Ma'am, for that
Yes.
A, ma'am, that's quick line, ma'am. Ma'am, I wrote a lot of heat is generated.
Yes, but you will not get full marks for that because they're asking what happens chemically. Means you have to represent the chemical equation for sure. If you're not representing the chemical equation, then that's not absolutely correct. Fine.
Okay.
I have given marks for writing that a lot of heat is generated. In case I haven't given, then also this is the main thing which you were supposed to write the reaction. Third is decomposition of iron sulfate. So two things happen when the iron sulfate decomposes. First, the color change happens, and secondly, what happens is the smell of burning sulfur is observed. Burning sulfur smell was observed. Clear? Any doubts still here,
Ma'am, I
anyone?
wrote the equation.
Yes, but the equation is not asked here. What are they asking? What characteristic change occurs? So what changes it? It is the color change as well as the smell is observed. But whatever is asked, you have to tell that even if you are writing the reactions correct and they're not asking the reactions, then there is no point. What they're asking, if you're writing the reaction along with it, you are writing that it gives the smell of burning sulfur, the color changes from this to this, then that will be considered. Clear to everyone?
So,
This is the
ma'am,
main
like,
reason I am discussing the test. For you people to know what exactly to write and what not. Fine. The
so
next
ma'am,
question
how
is to
many marks
identify.
are cut exactly?
I'm not sure when you get the test, you can see. In case you have a doubt after that also, you can ask for me in the next class. Okay. I'm not even sure if I gave the marks or not because actually the reaction wasn't asked. I think I gave 0 only because the reaction wasn't asked. Okay. But that is why I'm discussing because I didn't want in the next test, whenever it happens, the question will slowly and gradually become more complicated only. So you should know in which type of question what needs to be written. So I think this question I don't need to discuss. Identify the oxidizing and reducing agent. Most of you have written it correctly. But a few of you have written the product as the answer. But I told you very clearly that in case of oxidizing and reducing agent, the answer is always from the reactant side and not from the product side. Yes? Sai, Meher, Abhigya, keep your videos turned on, dear. Then you were supposed to give the example of photolytic decomposition reaction along with the activity. Most of you wrote it correct that whenever we take silver chloride or silver bromide, on keeping it under the sunlight, it decomposes and changes the color to gray. That is correct. The next was to mention the state symbols. That was also mostly correct. BaCl2 in the bracket, you have to write aqueous plus Na2SO4 aqueous. This gives us BaSO4 plus 2Na. This is aqueous and
No.
this is solid.
Well, how many marks are cutting for the aqueous and solid?
1
Are
mark
not
for the
mentioned.
reaction and 1 mark for not writing the state symbols. That's very important. Fine. Whenever you will get the test, you can analyze the test. In case any of you have any problem, you may please ask from me. So children, we are going to move further now. We will be continuing with the next topic. We have already discussed all the 5 types of reactions. I have discussed about the first reaction, which was combination, then decomposition, which is further of 3 types, then displacement reaction, then double displacement reaction, then oxidation and reduction occurring together, that is redox reaction, in which 4 questions are asked: which substances oxidize, which substances reduced, and which is the oxidizing and the reducing agent. I hope these reactions were clear to everyone. Then next we have the effect of oxidation reaction in our everyday life. and it is extremely important. Everyone understand the reactions carefully, write the reactions carefully, practice it today itself, so that when you revise later, you already know all of this. So, effect of oxidation reaction in everyday life. Meher and Abhinav.
Ma'am, I'll turn my video on in few minutes.
So first effect is the corrosion. Now, what is corrosion first of all? Corrosion is the slow eating up of, or I'll write the proper definition, the process of slowly eating up of metal due to the attack of metals due to the attack of atmospheric gases like gas.
And also,
Sorry? Abhinav, what are you saying? I could not understand.
ma'am, I have another doubt, ma'am.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, like, in my school test, I did not write attack of atmospheric gases. I wrote act. So,
Yes,
are
it
they
is
going to
the,
cut marks?
I will give you further many more definitions also. This is the exact definition. I'll give you the definitions which would be acceptable also. Fine? I'll give one or two more definitions. On the surface of the metal, to convert the metal into the metal into metal oxide, metal carbonate, sulfonate, etc., sulfate, etc. Fine, this is the definition of corrosion. There are other definitions of corrosion also, the easier ones. The first one could be eating up of metal surface by the action of eating up of the metal surface by the action of air and moisture. Mentioning air and moisture is important though. If you haven't written, then you should write. Then the other definition is degradation of the metal surface by the action of, again, air and moisture. I hope the definition is clear. Whenever the air and moisture, they come in the contact with the metal, they lead to the formation of certain products which harm the quality of the metal and leads to the degradation of the quality of the metal. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone is clear with the definition of what actually corrosion is? Oh, 1 second, it got erased by itself. Eating up of the metal surface by the action of air and moisture, degradation of metal surface by the action of air and moisture. Okay. Now we are going to study the 3 types of corrosion which are a part of our syllabus, which involves different reaction. There are many things which are related to it, which you should know. So first we are going to start with the corrosion of iron. So when you are supposed to give the definition of corrosion of iron, instead of metal, you are going to mention the word iron. That is the only change you have to do whenever they are asking the corrosion specific, they're asking for the specific metal. So what happens during the corrosion, and it is also very important, it is known as rusting. Specifically for iron's corrosion, we write the word rusting. Now, what is the reaction? So iron reacts with oxygen and I will explain each and everything before you people ask the doubt. I will clear. But first, let me finish writing the equation. Mhm. So children, before you ask, this X represents the number of water molecules. Because the number of water molecules differ from place to place, so we write X and it starts from 1 and so on. Now, what does this dot XH2O represents? This is the fixed number of water molecules which are attached with the iron. Now, what are the names of the reactants or the products? So, the product which is formed, it is hydrated iron oxide. And this you already know, it is iron. This is oxygen, and that's water. And a very important question, what are the necessary conditions? What are the necessary conditions for rusting to conditions for rusting to occur? So what are the two necessary conditions for rusting to occur? The presence of air and moisture. So these are the two conditions. Presence of air, and both of them should be there, otherwise the rusting will not take place. So presence of air and presence of water. Any doubts in rusting of iron? This together is considered as moisture. If the air is dry, then in that case also the rusting is not going to take place. Subhansh, Sai, Sudhamshu, why are your videos turned off? Keep your videos turned on. Subhansh, you are there in the class. Sai and Sudhamshu.
Just a second, I'm turning on the video.
Yes, I'm there in the class. 1 second, ma'am.
Better keep your video turned on.
One screen is scroll.
Yes, of course. Then the next we have to study is the corrosion of copper. So you must have heard from your parents, or you must have yourself observed in your everyday life, that the copper, it turns green if at all we keep it for some time in air and moisture. Why does that happen? Because of the corrosion of copper that happens. Can I remove and can I start writing further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes, the next is the corrosion of I'm unable to write, just a second. Corrosion of copper. So what happens in the corrosion of copper? The copper reacts with carbon dioxide, oxygen, and water. Again, this is obtained from the moist air. This is copper, you already know. So on reaction, it leads to the formation of CuCO3 dot CuOH whole twice. I forgot to mention very important thing over here. The color of hydrated iron oxide is reddish brown, because the color is many a times asked that on keeping iron exposed to moisture for a long time, it develops a reddish brown coating. What is that reddish brown coating? In that case, you have to mention the reaction of corrosion of iron. Then the name of this product formed is basic copper carbonate. If you do not write the word basic, this name is incomplete. So you have to write basic copper carbonate, because basic represents copper oxide, and the entire formula has a dot in between, which you also have to put. This is green in color. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Lastly, we have the corrosion of silver. Corrosion of silver. Now, what happens in the corrosion of silver? You must have ever heard from your parents, or you must have seen also. If at all you are wearing silver for a long time, you observe that after some time it turns black. That is because of the corrosion of silver. So when silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide, this comes from air. From air, there is no moisture here. This is your silver. Then it reacts and lead to the formation of Ag2S plus hydrogen gas. This is silver sulfide, which is black in color. The remembering of the color is very important because questions such as so and so metal on keeping in air turns into this color, explain why. So you have to know the colors, only then you will be able to write the reaction if you know the correct colors. Clear, everyone? Any doubts? These are the three corrosion which we are supposed to study. Okay, let's move further.
I'm writing.
Now okay, no problem. Next we need to know is that we have to know about the prevention of rusting. How can we prevent the rusting of iron? Prevention of rusting. So the first and the most basic thing which anybody can do or apply is the application of oil, paint, or grease. By applying oil, paint, or grease. Then the second is galvanization. Now, what is galvanization?
I'm
Anyone
coating
knows?
zinc through electro.
Yes, very good. Coating a layer of zinc metal by passing electricity. Or we may just write this much as the definition. Coating a layer of zinc over iron metal. The next is, any other point anyone knows to prevent the process of rusting? Nobody knows?
No.
Ma'am, alloys.
Yes, very good. Alloying. So basically, using alloys instead of pure metals, using alloys instead of pure metals. Now, what are alloys? Alloys are homogeneous mixture of metals specifically with either metals or non-metals. Either they will be mixed with metals or with non-metals. Next preventive measure is electroplating. It is the process of putting a layer of metal over iron metal to prevent it from bypassing electricity. Electro word here means electricity. Bypassing electricity. Are all the points clear to everyone? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
And has any doubts?
No.
Vriti, Subhash, Sudhanshu, keep your videos turned on. Can we move further then?
Ma'am, 1 minute, I'm writing.
One.
Okay, okay, okay.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, please ask.
What's the difference between electroplating and galvanization?
Galvanization specifically refers to the application of the layer of zinc, whereas in electroplating, we can use many metals. It could be any metal. Galvanization can be considered as a part of electroplating.
Okay.
Can we move further now?
Yes, ma'am.
1 second.
Okay, a little is visible. There is a type of corrosion which is advantageous for us. Now, what is that corrosion? That is the corrosion of aluminium. So what happens in case of corrosion of aluminium? The aluminium reacts with the oxygen from the air, leading to the formation of aluminium oxide, This layer of aluminium oxide acts as a shield and prevents the metal underneath from further corrosion. Once this layer is developed, then the main metal, that is the aluminium, stays protected under this layer of aluminium. So this is one of the corrosions which has an advantage. I hope this is clear. Now we will come to our next and the final topic of the chapter. Again, this is a type of oxidation which you come across in your everyday life. What is rancidity actually? It is the oxidation of
Food.
oils or fats in the food resulting into a bad smell and bad taste. There is another definition of rancidity. It is the aerial oxidation of oils and fats present in the food.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Ma'am.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, in that, ma'am, we had this, no, ma'am. First rule, ma'am, by applying oil, paint, and grease, no, ma'am. There we prevented that rust, oxidation of metals, ma'am. But here, like here only oxidation of oils, ma'am.
No, these are not the oils which we have spoken about, the oils in the prevention of rusting. These are the oils, the ghee which you use in the food, and that is the oil which is the oil which prevents the layer of oxygen from entering. And there the oxygen and moisture both has to be stopped. Here we are talking about only the oxidation process.
Okay. Thank you.
Fine. So this basically you must have observed in your everyday life. If there is some food left at your place and if you keep it outside in a hot summer weather, then in that case we observe that the food starts to smell and sometimes the food gets spoiled. And sometimes it might be the case that your mother has cooked something nice in the evening and she gives you in the lunch in the morning in the school. But when you go into the school and you try to eat it, it starts to smell very bad and as well as the taste changes. So this entire process, it is known as the rancidity, and we say that the food becomes rancid. Also, this exactly means that the oil and the fats which are present inside our food, that gets oxidized. The reaction occurs with the oxygen, and when the food gets oxidized, it becomes stale and it becomes bad for eating. Now we have the prevention of rusting. That's the last topic of this chapter. Prevention, rusting, nahi, sorry, rancidity. Prevention of rancidity. So children, what happens if at all there is some leftover food at your place? What does your mother do with that food?
So
Keep it in the
sometimes
fridge.
throw away.
That's absolutely correct. That it is kept in the fridge by your parents.
I'm
Right?
pretty sure I'm writing.
Yes, I can. Just wait. This will come by itself. So first is refrigerating. Refrigerate the food, or we may also say that I'll write again. Refrigerating the food, or we may also say that keeping the food at low temperature. Keeping the food at low temperature. This is the first thing. Tell me more. If at all there is any chips packet which is left, what do you do with that chips packet?
Airtight it and seal it.
Yes. So using airtight containers. Airtight containers. Apart from that, we can also do vacuum packing. If we do the vacuum packing, then all the air is taken out and hence the food stays protected. Okay, what is the gas which is present in the chips packet?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Yes. So flush the chips packet with nitrogen. Why nitrogen? Because as nitrogen is inert in nature. So it doesn't react and prevents the food from the rancidity. Lastly, the most important, by adding antioxidants to the food items. I'll give you the examples of antioxidants also. The first one is BHA and the second one is BHT. I write the full form for you. It is butylated hydroxy anisole. That's a compound. This is butylated hydroxy toluene. Anybody has any doubt?
Ma'am, can we use any other inert gas instead of nitrogen or
No,
just
we
nitrogen?
cannot, because nitrogen is present in excess amount and the other gases are present in such trace amount that you will not be able to use them. Fine. So can we move further and start the discussion of the questions of NCERT? Okay. Can I remove the screen?
Ma'am, 1 minute.
I'm waiting.
Ma'am, what is anisole, ma'am, and toluene?
These are the compounds.
Okay.
I'll write the formula also, but you will not be able to understand it much, so there's no point. It will come when you go in class 12. Means it is not of your syllabus. You should just know the names of the antioxidants which are commonly used.
You can. You can continue. Yes.
Okay. I will show you the questions and then we can move further. I have the book. I forgot. Chapter 1, class 10. So children, we have already discussed, as per my memory, we have already discussed these questions. Why are your videos turned off, everyone? Meher, Subhansh, Aryan, Sudhamshu. Okay, did we discuss all these questions? Because during the balancing of the equations, I discussed all these, right? Then let us come to the next type of questions. This also, as far as I remember, I discussed. Yes or no? A solution of substance X is used for whitewashing. Name the substance X and its formula. Write the reaction of X named with water. Did we discuss? No? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Fine. So who will tell me what is the substance X used for whitewashing?
Calcium oxide.
Yes. X is calcium oxide. And what is its formula?
CaO.
Just in the beginning of the class we discussed. CaO. Then what will be its reaction with the water? We have just done that. CaO plus water. What will be formed, children?
Calcium.
CaOH
plus
Very
H2.
good. Now I will ask one by one the questions. Aryan, can you tell me why is the amount of gas collected in one of the test tubes in activity 1.7 double the amount of gas collected in the other? Name the gas. This is the activity. Aryan, Abhinav,
Ma'am,
Ma'am.
can I?
yes, I'll give the chance to everyone. Just wait for a moment. Beta. Yes, Abhinav.
Ma'am, because one is hydrogen, other is.
No, the reason is something else. I taught you. Yes, Sai, you can try.
Ma'am, it is because the
Ma'am, did you
because
call
the
me?
positive hydrogen particles come around the negative cathode and the negative oxygen molecules
That's not
attract
the
to
correct
the.
answer.
I
So basically, yes, Subhanshu, you can try.
the composition of hydrogen and oxygen is in the ratio of 2:1. So the amount of hydrogen is double that of oxygen.
Basically, the water decomposes. I have made you all write this question also. I don't think so. You people are revising anything. Water decomposes to give hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 2:1 by volume. I told you that you have to remember this by volume. And the amount of gas, which is double the amount, that is hydrogen. Now clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So children, we are going to continue with NCERT questions in our next class. Everyone should revise the chapter and meet me in the next class so that whatever I teach further or whatever questions I ask, you are all able to answer rather than I only explaining all the questions. Fine? All the best, everyone. Read properly and come in the next class. Thank you, everyone. Bye, children.